Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, February 20th, indicate that as Jada Hunter's sadness deepens, Kristen DiMera will have a perverse scheme. Let's discuss what will happen on DOOL because Belle Black will also do a trick with a specific objective in mind. Leo Stark will first consider his upcoming chapter. Leo must now determine what his future holds after being fired as head writer of Body and Soul. Leo is confident about his relationship with Javi Hernandez and its future, despite the fact that he still has some career-related issues to work out. When it comes to his developing affections for Javi, Leo might have some optimistic predictions. Speaking of Javi, on Thursday's episode of Days, he will tell Jada a secret. It appears that Javi will reveal that Rafe Hernandez, also known as Arnold Feniger, had an affair with his bachelor party stripper and forced his cousin to hide it. Javi's updates and an upcoming challenging dream will make Jada's anguish even worse. Jada might envision Rafe apologizing and claiming that his coma was the cause of his confused brain when she is asleep. Jada may dream that Rafe is begging for a reconciliation and that his personality has returned to normal. In any event, as Arnold is still pretending to be Rafe on EJ DiMera's orders, Jada's desire will never come true. Naturally, EJ will try his hardest to hide that information, especially now that he and Belle are becoming more romantically involved. Belle may suspect that EJ is still hiding something though, because she will build a trap for him on Thursday's show. According to Days spoilers, Belle will try to trip EJ up by pulling a prank. It can be Belle's method of testing EJ to see if he has been completely honest with her. However, Belle may have a strategy to maintain her advantage in her position as district attorney for Salem. Belle is hoping to keep her job, but EJ and she promised to let the best DA win. According to spoilers for Days, Kristen will devise a perverse scheme. Given that both Rafe and Ava Vitale are being held at the Blake residence, it is obvious that Kristen and EJ need to find a way out of their double hostage situation. Ava and Rafe might be sent to the DiMera Island or something similar because Kristen is going to come up with a rather drastic plot. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Kristen will not have the opportunity to see her plan through to completion. Watch this space for the startling revelations that will come when Brady Black and Steve Johnson visit the Blake residence. Baby switch. The show moved so quickly to Johnny and Chanel adopting Tate and Sophia's child that I was truly taken aback. Yes, the new Sophia, portrayed by Rachel Boyd, also started airing. We all realized immediately that it was headed in that direction when the four of them collided on Wednesday. It felt so forced. Days of Our Lives, however, wasted no time in arriving. Days Johnny and Chanel are positioned on the right side of the Horton Square, observing Leo as Sophia, who appears unsure, holds his hand. At the end of Friday, Johnny and Chanel decided that since getting pregnant was dangerous, they should adopt Tate's child instead. However, as I mentioned earlier in the week, Amy will not be at all comfortable with the DiMeras adopting her grandchild, so we all know it won't end there. Pansexuality, greed, world dominance, sporadic villainous deeds, and demonic possession. Yes, all of these things are occurring with a great deal of drama and suffering. Simply follow it. I kind of like how Rachel just convinces everyone out of saving the poor woman, even though it's absurd that people keep discovering Ava and abandoning her in her grasp. I had assumed that Kristen would ultimately track her down, but I hadn't anticipated that EJ would also end up dragging Rafe to the house. Since his illicit activities are unlikely to worsen, it makes sense for him to leave Ava. What's an additional 10 years added to his final sentence? Despite his efforts to be a good villain and prevent Arnold from attacking Jada or Rachel from killing Ava or Rafe, there must be some sort of punishment in store for him here. Hurry up. An ungagged Ava stares up at EJ in despair during Days in the Blake house in Armid. I wonder how Brady will locate Ava. Steve will probably be able to use ISA resources to magically clear her voicemail and direct Brady directly to Armid now that he's involved. Ava doesn't really know about Rafe, so he might still be locked there, but little Rachel will be leaving for a time once she's free. Grandma Rachel is correct. When she tells everyone that her granddaughter is a young criminal who would be taken from her family if the authorities find out, she neglects to explain that she is the one who forced the 10-year-old into it. It's the Demaras again. In my opinion, this is the beginning of a Demera comeback. That's the direction that everything is going, aside from EJ getting shot. Anna and Tony will return, we know that. Furthermore, Peter Blake has been the subject of so much discussion that it is impossible that he won't return, particularly now that he and Kristen's mother are back on the canvas. Then the other day, Philip and Xander brought up Stephen Hawke, who, to be honest, I had completely forgotten existed. If you also did, here is a recap of him and his father, Benji. Although I am aware that some people occasionally feel as though the Demaras have taken over the program, the family has been around for more than 40 years, and recently, they have simply felt empty. Mostly, it's just EJ and Kristen. No one else is around. Johnny has been occupied with his own body and soul endeavors, which are finally completed, and Chad has been largely absent since the conclusion of the faux Abigail story, despite the fact that he frequently enjoys lovely moments with Julie. I'm eager to see who will return, and where it will go if there is a Demera renaissance.
Cancelled. Sort of.
It is true, indeed. The end of body and soul. However, the consequences aren't. Since many people were drawn into the show, they are left hanging without the soap opera. We assume that Alex is returning to Titan, Chanel can return to the bakery, and Stephanie still has her PR job and lots of other clients, in theory, to fall back on. However, Kate and Abe will require new pet projects. Johnny is once again unemployed. And Joy, well, who knows? Days in the hospital, Alex is behind Joy in a wheelchair, and Stephanie is behind Kayla in one. Additionally, I must admit that I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how Joy is crazy and obsessed with Alex, and that they haven't spent much time together, but I'm not getting that at all. For starters, Alex is acting shady once more. However, Joy is managing this quite well. She's been through a lot since coming to town, and she's heartbroken, but she found someone she liked and thought liked her, who didn't judge her. She would naturally develop genuine sentiments and believe that things are about to progress if they have been spending time together for a month, whether or not they have been sleeping together. Her behavior doesn't seem obsessive or out of proportion to me. She was actually the grown-up who put an end to it since Alex refused. However, as I'm sure many of us are aware from experience, that type of stuff does hurt. That concludes my tirade against Joy. Before we leap to the conclusion that she'll go crazy stalking Alex, let's see where she ends up. Days. At the conclusion of Body and Soul, Hattie, Johnny, Seth, Bonnie, Kate, and Abe congregate in the hospital. Regarding Abe and Kate, I believe it's clear where they're going. In some way, Body and Soul was keeping the hospital afloat. The show's sale to the network just brought in a huge sum of money for the creators, so they intend to purchase the hospital.